Still cramming out that who would win at the beginning of the month, at the end of the day. So we're at the beginning of April now, and we're reaching the end of the Planeswalker who would wins. Unless someone actually suggests one. And now, obviously, you know, I do. Anyone who's watched me for enough time knows I do a monthly theme to who would win. One at the beginning of the month, and then two during the week of who would win. The theme has been the Planeswalkers of the card game Magic the Gathering, which is a fantasy card game, infinite amount of worlds known as planes of existence, and characters who can move between them are called Planeswalkers. Excuse me. Whew. Now, with War of the Spark coming out, it has extended how long I'm going to be doing the Planeswalkers who would wins, because that's at least another 4 characters they've added onto this. That I know of. But we are right now. We are on a character known as Aminatou. Aminatou, or Little Fate Girl as she's known, is a planeswalker of pretty much unknown origin. She's a character we don't know where she actually comes from or who her parents are, but essentially her magic revolves around, and I'm reading this verbatim, around fate and the manipulation of destiny. She can perceive the matrix of fate and foresee the destinies of others. She ignited her spark basically because she didn't want to wait. She's 8 years old and therefore is playful and finicky, or playful and fickle. Her own destiny is something she toys with on a daily basis. Some days she'll be a singer, other days she'll be a queen. She's young, but because of her power, she possesses the knowledge of a lifetime. Aminatou is mercurial but not impulsive, and pragmatic despite the chaos she leaves wherever she goes. Child's logic guides her choices for now, and while those who know her are certain she'll grow out of it, the results of her current temperamental nature are worrisome. Aminatou's independent nature often gets the better of her. Her parentage is a mystery, and she only ever has them when she wants to be taken care of. The most striking feature of Aminatou is her calm demeanor. She would never throw a tantrum. Again, why would you throw it when you know the outcome is? It only laughs when something manages to surprise her, which is rare. Her magic is expressed through intangible moths. When one of her wisps or moths of power lands on a person, it nudges their fate in whatever direction Aminatou chooses it. That shift destiny can be as small as stepping on a thorn, or as broad as shifting the day as someone dies and how they may die. Aminatou is fairly dispassionate about how firmly she adjusts a stranger's fate. Those who know what she can do go out of their way to keep her happy, though they know better than to literally tempt fate. Despite a power suit that could easily destroy existence, she largely just serves her own needs, as she is just 8. While she is capable of tremendous things, she frequently uses her skills for smaller miracles, perhaps moving a rock so someone will trip on it later and meet the love of their life, and giving a stranger a knife if she foresees them getting mugged later. Her home plane is a mystery, so forth and so on. Aminatou could theoretically be considered one of the strongest Planeswalker characters in the Magic universe. And that is comparing her to even some of the literal high-tier characters. She's only 8, but she's capable of literally doing anything. She's basically manipulating fate, destiny, probability. She's doing all that just because that's how her abilities work. So when putting someone up against her like that, it's who do you put up against fate? How do you basically challenge someone who can literally decide the fate of a scenario anytime they want? Well, someone who can literally change any future outcome they see just by viewing it and changing it to their own discretion. It's a pretty good fit. Yhwach is the person I decided to put up against her. If you don't remember Yhwach, I had him in a fight against Cosmic Armor Superman a while back. In hindsight, I was being a little too fair on some of the characters in that one. That really was a bit more one-sided than I made, and I fully acknowledge that then now. But Yhwach is a human. He is known as a Quincy, meaning he's a spiritually aware person capable of using his spiritual energy to make weapons such as bows, arrows, broadswords, capable of using Quincy magic, which allows him to rain down arrows, pillars of light, things along those lines. He's able to walk on air using his abilities to stand on the air through spirit particles. He's able to move at a hyper speed, capable of absorbing the powers of others if he so can. capable of toughing up a screen with Blue Veil, but his most powerful ability is known as the Almighty, which gives him a secondary pupil in both eye, which allows him to not only see every possible future outcome, but change every future possible outcome to fit whatever his need is. I mean, he can literally change any future he wants. For instance, when he fought against Ichigo and the gang, he basically destroyed everyone's Bankai, which is basically their souped-up, powered-up forms. He destroyed every one of those in the future. So the minute anyone tried to activate those abilities, they were destroyed. He even changed the futures where he died. So the only reason they were able to beat him was through a technicality that they were able to exploit, because his power was so hacked. There was no future that he couldn't just change. So the question becomes, who wins against the ever-changing future and the ever-changing fate? Because your fate is technically your future, but it's not quite the same thing. So let's assume Aminatou goes to the Bleach universe. Yhwach is just doing his thing, and he sees him, and he senses the power of the girl, has a conversation with her, and perceives her as says, like, sorry, little girl, but I can't let that happen. It's like, I can't let you stand in my way. As a moth, as one of her little moths lands on his hand, and he just fires an arrow at her, which the arrow just turns into more moths. And Fuzz like, that's pretty. It's like, how dare you? So he would start firing like energy attacks at her, but because she's touched him with the moth, and probably touched him with more than one moth, all those would just dissipate and turn to like candy or water. She's like, oh, it was very hot, thank you. It's like, this is boring. All right, time to end this. And just as she's about to basically influence his death, he uses the Almighty, and then all of a sudden changes the fate of his death. And as he dies, as he suddenly like suffers like a heart attack or something, he just stands back up, and she actually laughs for the first time in a while. Like, I didn't see that. It's like, how did you do that? My power, child. Yeah, I'm older than you can possibly imagine. My power is the Almighty, and that makes me God. You're funny. And then she takes the moths. However, the moths quickly start to dissipate, as she can't necessarily influence someone else's destiny without touching them with her wisps. With the moths, basically, she creates. As it says, her magic is expressed through intangible moths. When one of her wisps' power lands on a person, it nudges their fate in whatever direction Aminatou chooses. But that is the case. She can influence her own fate without any problems, but she needs to touch someone with these intangible moths in order to influence them. And as soon as Yhwach basically activates his Almighty, he can see the outcome of what would happen if she influenced him with any of these. So he just gets rid of the moths. The moths just dissipate. And now she's not actually she's viewing a fate that she doesn't like. She's starting to view her own demise. And as an 8-year-old, despite all the things she's seen, that would really start to freak her out. It's like, what? And then she just brings out more moths. Like, Yhwach just slowly starts walking towards her, just dangerous, quiet, just looming over. And then she's, it's like, what? Why won't you? Why don't you? Why can't you meet your fate, child? I make fate. My fate is for my own choosing, and I can choose any fate I want. And then he just looks down on her. You, however, only have one fate, and that is death. And again she tries harder and harder, but she just can't, get any of the moths to hit anything he's got there, and he basically just, throws basically a quick, he basically just lights or super speeds behind her and just ends her, because he'd kill a kid. He probably would. And Aminatou just is able. Now, Aminatou, I think, would avoid the death simply because she can influence her own fate without, any other interference. But other than that, I think she loses the fight and, retreats. So why does she lose the fight? Why does she retreat? Well, the problem that it's the real problem for Aminatou here is, She actually doesn't have any. She's an 8-year-old kid with no actual physical abilities or firepower or anything like that. Now she can influence your fate, absolutely, and she could end you right there, theoretically speaking. The problem lies is wouldn't initially view Yhwach as a threat. Now you could make the argument she could see the destiny. She can't necessarily see the future. She can just see the fate of something. The fate and the future do go hand in hand, but they aren't correlated correlated with the same thing. So it would be tough, but and it also probably would pertain to certain circumstances. Like Yuha's first attack, she would already see that. She'd see that coming, and she'd stop that, and she'd probably just stop Yhwach's attacks at first. Then she'd probably say, "This is, you're dangerous. I'm gonna have to stop you, because you're annoying me." And once he activates the Almighty, it's pretty much counterattack any fate manipulation she can do, because he now would know what they're capable of, because he's seeing every possible future and outcome, and he just stops those moths. He just dissipates them, gets rid of them. It just incinerates them. And at that point, there's nothing Aminatou can do except run away. Or get killed. So Yhwach wins this fight pretty wholehandedly so long as she doesn't kill him before he activates the Almighty. If she could kill him before he activates the Almighty, then yeah, Yhwach's dead. The likelihood of that happening though is very slim. I'll go 10% though. Well, I won't go 10. I'll go 5%, honestly. 95% of the time I think Yhwach wins, but ultimately, yeah, I gotta go Yhwach. Who do you think wins, though? Aminatou or Yhwach? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. I just would win. Star Wars, Superior Magic, what if? Anything I do on the channel, put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. So thanks for watching, and I've got there'll be Magic spoilers for Ward Spark tomorrow. Don't have anything else planned for tomorrow. I got to pre-record. Well, I got to pre-record some videos for tomorrow as well. But other than that, though, yeah, not much else planned tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, folks.